Austria and Denmark, meanwhile, have become the latest European Union countries to stray from the bloc's coronavirus vaccination plan. They have both said that they're going to team up with Israel to produce second-generation vaccines that would be effective against variants of the virus. Delays in productions and deliveries means that the EU's rollout is behind that of Israel and other countries like the US and the UK. And to talk a bit more about all of that with me now, let's bring in France 24's James Andre. James, first of all, just set it out for us. Where are we now in the EU in regard to how the vaccine rollout program is going?
Well, we're not doing very well. You were talking about Israel in this intro, and basically in Israel, 55% of the population has had at least one of the two required jabs. In the UK, it's 29%. In the US, it's 14.5%. In the EU, it is 4.8%. And if you take two of the major countries, which are France, 4.3%, and Germany, 4.7%. Now, that also means a lot of frustration. For example, Germany is starting to study its deconfinement progress to ease the lockdown today, and there were many plans that were being discussed, but the figures are going up in Germany with, an extra 1,000 cases per week compared to last week at 9,000 new cases in the country, and that means Angela Merkel is not going to be able to deliver all she wants as far as deconfinement. And on the other hand, well, you have the UK, where the Secretary of State for Health is touting a national success story and indeed saying that the rollout is phenomenal. And indeed, the first studies show that there's been a reduction in UK COVID-linked deaths of 25% compared to last week. So indeed, those are very good figures indeed. So yes, the EU is trailing right now.
So what is the problem? Why is the EU so slow compared to countries like the United States or even the UK?
Well, simply because, for starters, it's due to the strategy itself. The EU has decided to go all for one and one for all, with the objective of making sure that smaller countries also had the vaccines available. And it is a big problem of vaccine availability, basically. But there's that. There's the fact that, indeed, the procurement has been done on the basis of we are a big bloc and we're going to buy a lot, so we want prices reduced, when basically all the other countries in the world were just scrambling to get hold of vaccines. So the quantities are not as high as planned. And then there are other things like, for example, the AstraZeneca. There's been a discussion about the efficiency of AstraZeneca with, for example, French President Emmanuel Macron in January saying that it was quasi-ineffective in people under 65. Well, in France, we've just started vaccinating people around those ages. Until now, we were vaccinating people over 75. So basically, the AstraZeneca that had been delivered has been sitting on shelves. As of the end of February, only 273,000 AstraZeneca doses have been administered in France out of a total of 1.7 million that were received. So there are indeed all these parameters that are slowing things down. There is also the fact that the European Medicine Agency has been slow in certifying these new vaccines, because it's important to note France, for example, was one of the countries in the world which was the most anti-vax as far as the population is concerned, so people needed to be reassured. But now what we're being told by the French authorities is that things are going to be massively speeding up, with general practitioners will be allowed to administer the vaccines, and this is something very unusual in France, it will be possible to get vaccines in pharmacies as of next week. So that should make a big difference. And indeed, there will be a rapid acceleration from now on, with potentially in March, this is what's being promised by Olivier Véran, the minister, 6 million injections made. That is double what has been done since the beginning of the rollout.
Okay, James, thank you for that. France 24's James Andre.